Hey everyone, and welcome back to Three Koi Fishes. This is part 2 of our series on DTT, PRT, and NET. In part 1, we covered applied behavior analysis, ABA, and the antecedent behavior consequence, ABC, framework. Today, we'll continue our conversation by discussing discrete trial training, DTT, pivotal response treatment, PRT, and natural environment training, NET, before finishing with a side-by-side comparison. Let's get back to the program. Let's move into the first of the 3 main teaching methods, DTT, Discrete Trial Training. This is one of the most well-known and widely used approaches within ABA therapy. DTT is a highly structured, teacher-led method, and the key word here is structured. Skills are broken down into the smallest possible steps, called discrete trials, and each step is taught one at a time with intention. Here is how a typical DTT session looks. The therapist gives one clear, simple instruction. The child responds. If the response is correct, the child receives an immediate reward, something specific and motivating to that individual child. This cycle repeats, often many times in a row, to build true mastery of that one skill before moving on. For example, if the goal is to teach a child to recognize the color red, the therapist holds up a card and asks, "What color is this?" The child says, "Red." Immediate praise. Over many repetitions, across multiple sessions, that skill becomes solid and measurable. It is extremely effective for teaching specific, measurable skills. The predictability of the structure creates a low-anxiety environment, which many children with ASD respond well to. Progress is easy to track, and data collection is straightforward. Research strongly supports its use, especially for early learners. The repetitive, structured nature can become less engaging over time. Some children lose motivation after the novelty wears off. And here is the most important limitation to understand. Skills learned at a desk do not always transfer to real-world settings on their own. Therapists call this a generalization problem. A child may perfectly identify a cup during a DTT session, but not ask for water at the dinner table. That gap is exactly why DTT is most powerful when it is paired with PRT and NET, which we are covering next. PRT, pivotal response treatment, is naturalistic and child-initiated. That means instead of the therapist determining what is worked on, the child's own interests and motivations drive the entire session. The name pivotal comes from the concept that certain areas of development are so foundational, so pivotal, that improving them creates a cascade of positive changes across many other skills simultaneously. You target one core area, and multiple skills improve as a result. The 2 most targeted pivotal areas are motivation and self-management. Here is a simple real-world example. A child loves toy cars. A PRT therapist uses that car as the teaching vehicle, to work on saying the word car, to practice making eye contact to request the car, or to develop turn-taking. The child is engaged because they chose this. The learning is woven into something they already love. Research by Dr. Lynn Kugel and Dr. Robert Kugel, the developers of pivotal response treatment at the Kugel Autism Center at UC Santa Barbara, has consistently demonstrated meaningful improvements in communication, social engagement, and reduction in disruptive behaviors, particularly when parents are trained to implement PRT at home alongside therapists. It feels natural and engaging for the child because it follows their lead. It is highly parent-friendly and can be implemented at home during everyday activities. Because it targets pivotal areas, improvements tend to generalize across multiple skills at once, which is a significant efficiency advantage. For children who need very specific, measurable skill targets, The flexibility of PRT may not be sufficient on its own. It also requires a highly trained therapist who can read child cues quickly and pivot in real time. In less experienced hands, sessions can drift without clear therapeutic direction. And finally, NET, Natural Environment Training. Here is the simplest way to understand NET. Skills should be learned where they will actually be used. NET takes ABA principles completely out of the therapy room and places them in the real world, the kitchen, the playground, the grocery store, the bedroom. Because here is the truth. A child who can correctly name an apple on a flashcard at a desk but cannot ask for a snack in the kitchen has not fully learned that skill yet. NET closes that gap. In NET, everyday routines become teaching opportunities: washing hands, getting dressed, ordering food, saying goodbye to a friend after school. These moments are embedded with learning, and the rewards in NET are functional, meaning the reward is directly connected to the activity itself. If a child asks for their favorite snack, the snack is the reward. That is real-world motivation. Skills learned in natural settings generalize more easily because they are never separated from their context to begin with. It builds independence and functional life skills. It dramatically reduces the gap between clinic performance and real-world performance. Real environments are unpredictable. Distractions are harder to control, which can make clean data collection more difficult. And for children who are in the earliest stages of learning, the structure of DTT may need to be established first before transitioning to natural environment work. Let's bring it all together with a quick side-by-side look at the three teaching methods: DTT, PRT, and NET, because in a well-designed ABA program, all three are typically used together. DTT, structured, desk-based, focused on repetition and specific skill mastery, best for building the foundational building blocks. PRT, play-based, child-led, focused on motivation and broad areas of development, best for increasing spontaneous communication and engagement. NET, real-world settings, everyday routines, focused on skill generalization, best for ensuring what was learned in therapy actually happens at home, at school, and in life. The most effective programs don't choose just one. They use all three, building skills at the desk, reinforcing them through play, and transferring them to the real world. As a parent, the most powerful thing you can do is understand the tools being used with your child and why. You do not need a degree in behavior analysis to advocate effectively. You need to know enough to ask the right questions and partner meaningfully with your child's care team. And now, you do. You know what ABA is and where it comes from. You know how ABC data gives you insight into the why behind behavior. You understand the difference between DTT, PRT, and NET, and when each one is most useful. That knowledge changes the conversations you have with your child's team, and those conversations change outcomes. If you found this information useful and want other parents to know, please hit the subscribe button to help grow the channel, and please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.